What's going on, everyone? I'm just messing with hard drive stuff right now. Throwing a game on this one. I also used it to clear off another hard drive, a 1 terabyte that I'm trying to set up for Vader, but I don't know what happened. It was causing the E68 error, which is just hard drive failure. It's supposed to be a brand new hard drive, so there could be a fault with it, but we just got it cleared off. I'm going to deal with that next. I really want that done so I could ship it out and get it ready. And then I'm kind of doing the same thing here. We had the 250 gig flash drive on this one, and it just has all the Call of Duty games. I'm just throwing Deadpool on there from this other hard drive to make sure that's going to work before I, again, use this hard drive to set up the other one, just in case it was something I transferred from there that was a problem. Everything is working great on this one so far. Still a little bit of bubbles going through our system there, but it is much quieter. I think our fans are set to about 70%, and we've had this on for at least over half an hour. We're at 50, 48, 46, 29. Not quite as good as Vader, but one, we could turn the fans up to 100%. I'm sure that would bring it down a little bit. And two, this is a Falcon compared to a Jasper, and that being said, this is doing really well, especially for having one radiator as opposed to the 2 in Vader. This one also has 3 fans, 2 on the radiator, and this one here. On Vader, we have technically 6 fans. Anyway, once this is done, I'm going to do the same thing on Vader, and while that's all getting set up and loaded, we're going to work on a couple other things. This should be all cleared off now. We got it plugged in here. This should start up like a normal Xbox as soon as we plug it in. Okay, I do actually really like this loop a lot. I don't know now. Whichever one is in front of me, I like more. This one and the bloody one. Okay, we have it. Alright, we've got it formatted here. Now we're just going to plug in. Now we're just going to use this one here from the jump. Last time I just used a flash drive to set up Aurora and all that, and then plugged that in and transferred stuff, and I think a couple different things went wrong. But I was just thinking about being able to check temperatures, but on this one, we don't need Aurora to do that. Even though these aren't super accurate, but close enough. Okay, I am stumped on this one. I think I'm going to just order a return shipping label and assume this hard drive is just faulty. I have tried every which way to set it up. I was able to do it the very first time with a flash drive, get it into XEX menu, load up Aurora, but then as soon as I put games on it, it was just throwing an error code, and plugging it into here, and then the computer, it just keeps wanting me to reformat it each time, and it can't recognize it. So I think it's just a problem with that, because I've used the same flash drive and all that to load up all these other random hard drives and things, and every other flash drive or hard drive I put into this system has worked fine. So I don't know. I'm not going to worry about Vader right this second. I'm going to at least get some games loaded up on this one, so this one is pretty much ready to go other than these darn bumpers. Temperature-wise, I mean, it's been doing great. It seemed like it was capping at about 50 last time I was transferring stuff. Took quite a while to actually get up to like 49, 50, at least on the processor, and it didn't really go any higher than that. It kind of just floated around there, so good news. And that was with the fans at like 60 or 70%. They're currently at 100 right now. I'm just curious to see the difference there. I have prepared myself to once again mess with DVD drives. I want to get that leaf shell good. Now, we haven't opened this one yet, and it has a light on drive. Yeah, so I can't get it to open at all. And this was the one that had the RF board works, like we connected a controller, I think. I can't remember, but there's no lights at all happening, but it works. Anyway, it sounds like a solid disk drive that's trying to open, not like kind of weak like a lot of the other ones we've tested recently. So I don't know. We're going to open this one up, change the belt and all that, and see if we can get it to work. For starters, we're several games in. It's been a little while. pretty much holding steady at 45 with the fans at, I think, all the way 100%. Now over here, I'm really glad this isn't like a total mess, but we do have some concerning. I believe up here we had some like orange specks, mostly on this. Well, not like bad corrosion, but you could see the start of it. I haven't wiped or vacuumed anything yet, and it's really nice to see, like, the motherboard actually looks pretty good. Just have dust around here. But it looks like something was like dripping here. You can see here, a little bit there, and down here. So hopefully that all wipes off. I was going to say I have high hopes. I don't have high hopes. I keep saying that, and it's not working out. But this disk drive does look pretty clean. That looks like an untampered with aluminum tape there. So let's pop this out, take a look, and obviously while we're here, we'll take this off, dust it, at least put some thermal paste on there. Don't really notice anything crazy about the ring of light board. That looks like just dust, but there is a lot of crud around these two screws, and I guess that one as well. Although on here, I mean, there's a little bit, but it seems okay. I don't see anything like that on the motherboard anywhere. Just little bits of dust and maybe some gunk. There was what looks like grease that would be, I mean, that kind of looks like the white lithium grease that would go inside the disk drive. And I mean, there's some residue on here. You can see a little bit of corrosion there. Definitely was like rubbing on here or something. But like apart from those little areas, everything still looks good. Ooh, we got the purple caps. That's a lot like my other Falcon, I hope. Uh-oh. Okay, so there is an issue. Oh no. That one too, that's not good. Okay, well, this got more stressful. Everything we can see, though, looks good so far. Oh boy, yeah, let's pop this off. Still holding strong, adding a bunch more games. On this side of things, again, still mostly looks like dust. We do have corrosion around these, which was kind of seeing the bolts. But it looks like it hasn't gone past those rings, so hopefully we can just get that all cleaned up. There is a lot of stuff going on right next to those, but obviously this was working, and I don't see any signs of anything getting to like the chips or anything like that. It looks pretty clean around these actually, other than, you know, thermal paste situation. Let's see if we can actually read. It looks like it says HTG. Yep, HTG 130. So obviously not going to reuse the hardware from these heat sinks. I actually have a set right here, the ones that we took off the Falcon because we water cooled it. See in here, this whole thing is gross. So I'm going to get the motherboard cleaned up. I'll at least let this stuff soak, but I'm just going to grab another cage, non-HDMI, and some other heat sinks and put the hardware from the other one on there and finish cleaning this up. It dusted off amazingly. I was pretty surprised. I don't know why I still am, but some of these just have the weirdest looking like colored dust and all kinds of stuff. Even some of this stuff came off, like brushed off. Cleaning up pretty good so far. Even all that crushed inside all the little mounting holes there. So I got the Xbox we were using to test out DVD drives, since that seems to be useless anyway. We took the board out of it, and we're going to use this shell. Nice and clean. It's in great shape. Other stuff from there, we've got ring of light board. We've got some new heat sinks. Well, not new. We've got to scrape that little bit of thermal paste stuff. Cables, of course, and we'll go ahead and swap out the X-clamps as well. They're just covered in nasty stuff. Didn't think about cleaning that. We can't technically use this cage here. You see that? Those holes don't line up. And I realized that one time way back when I had it was either an HDMI shell and I needed to put a regular non-HDMI in it or vice versa, and I just cut the back here. I'm like, oh, that's all we need to do. But then I realized those holes don't line up between the non-HDMI and HDMI. Well, apparently the Opus still has those like the HDMI board, but you know, everything else is the same. The thing I did notice with the Opus is that this port in the back here, so they're kind of upside down, is almost as tall as the Ethernet port, and that's usually how it is for the HDMI. On the non-HDMI, it's about half the size, but you can see here on the Opus, it's almost as tall, but it's still non-HDMI. So, a couple things weird. So those are signs you can tell it wasn't like, hey, let's just make a nicer Xenon. It was literally take the Falcon and make it non-HDMI. That finally brings us to dealing with the disk drive, which was the only thing I wanted to do, but it's been all day long. It's pretty dirty, but definitely not as bad as the outer shell was. Just kind of the usual spots. There is quite a bit of clumps around here, so it makes sense. It did seem to struggle a little bit when I tried to manually open it, and once it got open it seems good. But we'll get all this cleaned out. I'm running low on Q-tips. A new belt grease. I grabbed a new shell from upstairs with the parts, as well as some good, decently clean, good looking parts for, well, the outer shell. Let's put this on. If it fits, there we go. And we should maybe take that off. Throw this faceplate on here that I kind of put leftover parts on. We stole the white doors and power button again for this one that's still running perfectly. Now need this TV for the AV port. So while we move this one over, I'm going to try to get that bubble to go all the way to the top. See how we did on this, if we got that. Looks like we did. Don't see it floating around the top. Got that last little bit up there. Might have to put a tiny bit more. I was hoping once this was done tonight to get some stuff thrown on the big fan build. This guy right here, at least one at a time, just kind of see how the temperatures react. Depending how that DVD drive goes, hopefully we can get this done. The other water-cooled one done. That controller tidied up, and this one be done. This one apart for the last time, and we can just test that out. Okay, okay, I think it's time to try this guy out. Dang. Still no lights on the ring of light board. Haven't had that issue before. I know this was a working board that I just swapped in here. So, I guess that means something... Well, why would it work, but not have the lights, and not be the RF board? I don't know. Weird. Couldn't get a wireless controller to connect at all, even with that cable, which those can be kind of finicky anyway, so it's hard to fault that. But a regular wired controller, which we got like 5 of them in that lot, it was like 40 some bucks for a working Falcon with 5 controllers and keypads and everything. So anyway, we got that connected. Just as nervous as when we turned on the water-cooled Xbox for the first time. It opens. It closes. It sounds like it wants a disc. Try the button. Give her Madden 10. That worked. And another one, so... Working light on drive. Now, I would just swap the shell over to this one, but I'd have to figure out this other issue. So, I guess what we're about to do is swap the daughter boards into that other Opus so that we can at least have that one finished. But yeah, that is a new problem for me. If swapping the RF board didn't change that and I can't connect a controller, I don't know, I'll have to kind of look that one up. But it seems like that's the only real issue with this one. With the fans and everything, or with everything cleaned out, I mean, we seem pretty much good back here. Before we deal with the disk drive, I'm going to go ahead and open up this laptop. This was in a video a little while back when I did a PS4 disk drive replacement for a buddy, and he gave me this laptop that's locked out. Otherwise, it seems to work, other than having to be plugged in. Someone said you could just swap in another hard drive, possibly, that has like Microsoft on it already, or Windows. We're not going to worry about that part just yet, but I'm just going to take the bottom apart, get the hard drive out, see what kind of hard drive it has, actually. Got the outer screws off, and then it looks like there's a couple more under here. But I noticed it says service tag, so I wonder if it has the RIA GPU. Not too bad in here. Got the two fans, and, okay. M2. Unless there's some sort of adapter for that somebody knows of, I don't think we can do anything with that. And this looks like we've got, might be an Elpis. Well, that was a fun waste of time. Alright, we got Dilly and Dally over here. Obviously going to try this out one more time. I also want to take the bezel off just to see if that's causing it not to close all the way, and that's why it's not working, but I don't think that's the problem. And then we'll just swap this one over to here. Yep, not much of anything. Trying this one more time. Still don't understand the no light situation. Still opens. The next thing we're going to try on all the disk drives real quick, since I finally found this thing. You can basically turn it down by that little gold piece. You can turn it slightly to the left to turn it down, and you don't really want to go below, it's like just over 3 ohms. So as long as it's way above that, you can try turning it down a bit and see if that works. So since some of these were pretty close to working, I'm hoping at least one will out of like 10 BenQ and Lite-On drives. So we got this one set to exactly 3.02, which I believe is kind of the lowest you want to go. And then another thing is I'm just going to push the laser all the way back. I remember doing that a few times a long time ago, and it seemed to work a couple times. So it's kind of like wishing upon a star, but we'll try it. So, what happened since the last clip? Well, right after that, I dropped the Xbox on the floor. Luckily, it was where the rug is. However, on the way down, I guess I tried to catch it. Almost took the tip of my finger off. Didn't even notice that happened until I saw blood dripping, which essentially it looked like this. You could probably actually still see some. There's some in the X there. But basically this looked like this Xbox right here. It really sucked. I assumed I just broke this thing. But it works exactly the same as before. Drive still doesn't read, but everything else turns on. Nothing like cracked or broke off of it, so that's good. I had to take a break from messing with the BenQ drives, and I actually went back and got this one fully ready to go. So we got the games on there, they're all working. Had to get rid of a few games that just appear to be corrupt and were causing it to like freeze up, and I was worried it was this thing, but with those games gone, everything's been great with this. The temperature's awesome. Our D-pad is working great. Still aftermarket, might not be quite as crisp as OEM, but it works just fine. You no longer have to like push it down hard in either direction. It works great. I was able to get these to work. They work great now. Still need to tighten the screws down on this side, but yeah, this is all 100% good now. This whole build is good. I think it's ready to go. As I said, on the BenQs, we were trying to adjust the potentiometer a little bit, and most of those were already in like the low 3s, so none of them worked at all. I had no hopes going into the light-on drives, but I figured, you know what, I have so many, I'm going to go for it. I'm sure one can work. We've gotten all of them to open and close reliably great with the hair ties and just cleaning them out. Decided to go a little bit deeper with the light-on drives. One with the potentiometer, and two actually adjusting the rails that the laser sits on. And I was actually surprised at pretty much all of them needed to be adjusted at least a little bit. Started with this one, adjusted the potentiometer, it was at like 4, just went down a little bit, adjusted the rails a little bit. This one's now reliable, working. We're going to check out all of these in just a second. Then moved on to our other Opus here. You can see this has been adjusted. This one is still a little bit noisy, so we'll have to check like the grease on that. Potentiometer was at like 5, again went down to like 3.5, adjusted the rails, everything seems great. Now this one, I remember it was the third one, was at like over 6 or almost 6 on the ohms for that laser. Turned it down to 3.3, 3.4, adjusted the rails. I think this one was actually really off. Works great now. Another Opus right here had the same issue. It was actually sort of working. This is the one where we can't get the controller to connect and has no lights on the front. Otherwise everything else works. We did the exact same thing. Works great. I'm going to use this controller just to show you it does work. Make sure that's connected. Perfect. So it still vibrates a little bit in the upright position. Now this one here, I believe, was the Opus that came in the box. It's just a standard, good working Opus. Pretty sure it had the just RIA 002. Same game, and it is definitely not the cleanest. Nice big scratch in there. Okay, so this was the other one that was still a little noisy there. There you go, loads right up. Next up, we got the Opus. I think this was actually the first one we got, and it is still a bit noisy, but light on, fixed. It has the RIA 002, and this is the one that had the sticker on the motherboard that said "Oops" instead of Opus. So I think this is kind of my favorite one. Oh, I'm gonna connect it. There we go. Okay, here we go. And the two that were noisy, which is the last one and this one, are only that way in the upright position, so we'll just probably still need a little cleaning there on the rails or something like that. That kind of doo-doo-doo sound. Definitely not as bad as the Cubs one was in that one video. And there we go, play a game. Next one up is our last opus, and this was the most recent one we took apart with the HTG 130 RIA chip. No RF board lights at all, even though we swapped in a known working one. It still works, but no lights at all, and we can't get a wireless controller to connect to it, but this does work. So, and now this one here was sort of kind of working. We could get like 1 or 2 games to load up sometimes on it. So, but now it's actually reliable, hopefully. It was when I tested it earlier with the others. Alright, so we just back out of here, open our tray. I believe this one was actually the quiet one. Yeah, that one's actually pretty good. So we just got to figure out what's up with this. Obviously, I'm going to assume it's something with the port the RF board goes into. If it's not the RF board, because I know it works, unless something is like shorting out the LEDs, I don't know. But there you go, 4 for 4 on opuses. We had 4 that wouldn't read, and now we have 4 opuses that are all fully working, apart from this little issue with this one. To finish this video off, we're going to take a look at one more system, and it's actually a Falcon. No, that's our cat Falcon. It's actually an Elpis. This is our Beta NXE dashboard Elpis. This is one that we have not actually opened yet. It's obviously fully working, but after opening the other Beta, the Zephyr, and seeing the 2 bad caps in the back, I definitely want to open that up. But this also has a light-on drive that was a little iffy. Not a whole lot to go over here. I mean, it's, I would say, super clean compared to a lot of things we've taken apart recently. A little bit of dust here and there, but I mean, overall it looks great. All the caps look great. You can see the ones, 2 different ones here. That's, you know, it was serviced, some were replaced. Copper heat sinks, light on drive. No warranty sticker at all on the front. There's a little bit of sticker residue. No aluminum sticker on our DVD drive either. That was completely removed. So I am going to assume this one's probably fine on the inside, but we'll still open it, show you exactly what I did. Just as I thought, it looks almost brand new in here. But first thing we look at are these rails. So this one and this one that this rides on. And you want to compare them. See that little metal piece on the end? This rod is sticking up past that just a tiny bit right here. But on this side, that rod is sticking up quite a bit. Now obviously this one was working okay, but I still want to lower that rod just a tiny bit on this side, and we'll check the front. Wouldn't be surprised if it's the same. So right side just a little bit. Tray's kind of in the way. Left side, they actually look a lot closer on the front, still a little bit higher on the left. And what you do is that screw right there with the little blue gunk under it, you turn it to the left a little bit, that's going to loosen it. On this side, it's actually going to lower it a tiny bit, which will allow that rod to sit a little bit lower. And same on the back, but you can't get to that one until you move the motherboard out of the way. And that's the one we really want to adjust. So we'll lower that quite a bit, and then we'll show you the potentiometer. So we've got the multimeter, these 2 little gold circles here. So the one on the right is for like CDs and stuff. I'm not really worried about it. But the one on the left is for your games and stuff. And you can see it kind of looks like a Phillips head screw, and that's what you're going to do is actually put a screwdriver in there, and you turn it to the left to lower the ohms, or up to raise it. And you're going to put your red, hold this steady, on this right here, and then the black prong, I guess it could be vice versa, on the top one there. And you should get a reading here between like 3 and 6. Some of them are pretty high, but we'll see. Hopefully that angle works there. Here we go. 6.44. Go. And that was quite a bit that I just turned it. Very little bit goes a long way. Alright, so now we're at just under 4. So we'll leave it at that. It was like 3.95, I think. Oh, we still have a little room to grow, and that one was so high up, and it was already working pretty much fine, so I think we're going to be great there. Last thing we want to do, though, is, well, one, it looks like there's not really any grease on these. I think we'll put a little bit of grease on there. We'll close this up and put our hair tie in there again. This was working fine, but wow, yeah, that does feel dry rotted, and still have had 0 issues with the hair ties. I highly recommend. I wasn't going to take this off, honestly, because I wasn't going to worry about it. This is going to get a water block eventually, but oh boy. So I took the CPU off. First of all, we got our little red arrow sticker over here. And I honestly don't think this got thermal paste when it was serviced. I mean, you can read the chip information on the bottom of the heatsink. It looks like it had thermal paste from the factory from, 2005, 2006, but I swear it looked... Now, obviously, this has been open since then, but then our GPU has, like, fresh thermal paste on it, or basically fresh, on top of old thermal paste, but still. So that's interesting, but yeah, I guess I'll get that cleaned off, new thermal paste, we'll put it back together. Not worried about cleaning anything up, everything else looks fine. As I said, when we actually get to putting the water block on here, we'll get it all cleaned up. All out of isopropyl alcohol. Oh, look at that. 003Y1. This is actually not an Elpis. It's still a service from June 2009, which tells me it probably had like a bad disk drive, maybe some bad caps, a couple other things, and they replaced all that. But this shows you that not every single serviced Xenon is an Elpis. This one apparently still had a good GPU, which I assume is what the sticker's for. They put that in there to say, hey, don't swap that out, that's actually good. And they clearly just replaced these caps here. Got our new label on here, Beta NXC Y1, works, flash drive. Okay, so I guess this was working fine before, but it should work even finer. Nice and smooth. Yeah, that sounds like a good, normal, newer disk drive. No weird laser cannon sounds or anything like that. I need to edit this mess of a video where we did all kinds of random stuff. That's me. As soon as I'm done with that, we're going to get this one listed, get my sale listing video ready, so look forward to that very soon. Now, the thing with this guy, so obviously there's no top hard drive, we're not using that port at all. There's a chance I feel like this could be damaged, the port on this one. I had some weird issues with it before. I thought it was just the plug being loose, so we fixed that. Didn't seem to have issues with it until we started messing with the hard drive. And of course, like I said, I think it was that I got a faulty drive. But putting another one in there, like the one from this guy, slapping it on there, it's still not really working. Seems to only be working through here. I might just have to clean this out. Again, could just be a file issue. It would kind of make sense if this is a problem to just swap the boards in here, because we wouldn't use it in this one anyway, but I would rather not do that. I'll have to kind of figure that out. Regardless, this is probably going to get listed, hopefully alongside this one. And we've got this guy we're working on. I've got to take it back apart. We're doing some more stuff to it, hopefully getting that one finished up as well. Apparently, we've got 3 more good Opuses, except for whatever's up with this guy. 20 Falcon that I dropped, but still works, that we're going to use this guy with and do kind of a purple version of this guy. Other random garbage boards to go through at some point. For today, guys, it's time to finally end this. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to not like, comment, or subscribe. And don't forget, check out that membership. We may be setting up to give away this faceplate soon.